Hello and good morning, friends. In this video, we will discuss the fiscal policy of government, and this is the topic of economics. And now we will start. Fiscal policy of any country deals with the budgetary process. The fiscal policy is basically divided in three parts: the revenue of the government, the expenditure of the government, and the borrowing of the government. We look at in this video we will look at the revenue of the government, and in the next video possibly we will look at the expenditure and the borrowing of the government. Expenditure and borrowing of the government deals with the deficit management. Example: the primary deficit, the primary deficit, and several deficit of the government. So we will look at the expenditure and borrowing in the next video, and we will start from the revenue. Revenue revenue of a government comes from two sources, either from the tax or from the non-tax. The tax, the tax is basically of two parts: the direct tax and the indirect tax. And the non-tax deals with non-tax largely comprise of the disinvestment, interest payment, the fees and fines, and also the dividend and other sources. As you know, the disinvestment means that the selling of a share of the government to the public and a private institution is known as disinvestment. And interest payment means that suppose the government has given a loan, and the loan is giving its return in the form of the interest. It is known as interest payment. And fees and fines, we know that fees and fines that the government levy on the items that on services that it's provided. For example, in the hospital we find that the government takes the charges of 100 rupees, etc., or 1 rupees. That's known as fees and fines. And also as we have discussed some other part, the dividend. Yes, the dividend means that when the profit of the company, when the company gets profit, and the profit is known as dividend, and the profit that is given to the shareholders is known as dividend. So also the dividend is also known as the non-tax revenue of the government. So the tax, we were discussing about the tax. The tax comes from two sources: the direct tax and the indirect tax. What is direct tax? Direct tax means that the tax which is levied on the consumer or any person, and it cannot be thrown back. It cannot be thrown on other person. That is known as direct tax. For example, a tax on the income is known as direct tax, because the tax on the income the person has to give. Disinvestment, interest payment, fees and fines, and dividend, and other sources or the form of the non-tax. What is disinvestment? We know that disinvestment means that selling off its share to the public or private institution by the government is known as disinvestment. And interest payment means that suppose the government has given loan to someone, the revenue that is get from in the form of interest is known as interest payment. So this is also a non-tax revenue of the government. Third thing is that fees and fines. The fees and fines are the taxes, non-taxes, which or we can say the revenue that the government on when it provides some services. For example, in the government hospital, we find that the government takes fees and fines because of its services that it's provided. Also, dividend. Dividend means that when the company gets profit and it gets share, it provides share of the profit to the shareholder is known as the dividend. So these are the non-tax revenue of the government. Now tax revenue. Tax, we know that the two type of tax: direct tax and indirect tax. What is direct tax? Direct tax is a tax in which has to pay by the which the tax is known as direct tax, in which the tax has to pay by the person on which the tax has been imposed. For example, if a tax has been imposed on me, I cannot transfer, I cannot say that I cannot shift its burden to another person. That is known as direct tax. For example, the income tax. If my revenue is, if my salary or income is higher, then the government will charge a tax on me. That is known as income tax, and I cannot transfer this tax to another person. So this is known as income tax. And what is corporate tax? Corporate tax means that the tax which is levied on the company above a certain limit. For example, salary of the company or the turnover or the profit of the company have certain limit. If if it crosses, then that company has to give the tax. We will discuss the corporate tax in some larger detail in the center part, and also the wealth tax. Wealth tax is a tax on the wealth, so it is self-explanatory. Now the indirect tax. Indirect tax means the tax which has been imposed on some other person or any company, and the burden of that tax has been shifted to the another person. For example, when in an education institution, for example, the coaching center or the health or the school, etc., when the government charges tax on them, then they transfer that burden to the student, because that tax is known as indirect tax, because the government has imposed tax on them. The government has imposed tax on them, but they have shifted that tax to the public or the service renderers. That is known as indirect tax. Now, there are basically three types of tax structure. The tax structure of any country is basically three types. The first is the direct and indirect tax that we have discussed. Second is the specific and ad valorem tax. The third is progressive and regressive tax. We have discussed the direct and indirect tax. Now we will look at the specific and ad valorem tax. What is specific tax? Specific tax is a tax on a specific item. For example, when a certain commodity has certain special feature, for example, its length, breadth, and height crosses certain limit, and then they have to give tax. That is known as specific tax. That is, as I have discussed, that when the commodity length, breadth, weight, etc., crosses certain limit that is imposed by the government, then then that company, on that product or commodity, we have to give tax. That tax is known as specific tax. For example, when the weight of the cement got exceed from certain limit, then the tax then the tax on the cement is known as the specific tax, because it is applied on particular specific item, or when the weight is increased. Also we can say that, for example, when the length or breadth of the particular newspaper got increased, as if suppose it's a hypothetical example, if the length and breadth is increased as decided by the government, then also on that tax, on that item, on that commodity, we have to give a specific tax. Now we will look at the ad valorem tax. It is a tax in which is imposed on any basic commodity on the total value of the commodity. For example, we have gone to a restaurant, and the restaurant charges the bill of the restaurant that we have, the food that we have eaten. The charge of that food is rupees 2000. And when the tax is imposed on the overall commodity or the total value of the commodity, that is known as the ad valorem tax. And suppose the tax is imposed on the particular item that we ate, that is known as specific tax. Now, progressive and regressive tax. Progressive tax is a tax which is imposed by a country when the income of a person goes at certain limit. It means that as the income increases, then the tax got increased, because why tax increase as the income increase? Because government has every government follow the principle of equality, and they have to put all the person at the same level, so that everyone can develop himself. When the income got increased, the tax also increases. That tax is known as progressive tax. And now, what is a regressive tax? Just opposite of progressive tax. That is, when the income increases, the tax got decreased. That is known as the regressive tax. And every government, every country follows the process of progressive tax. Why progressive tax? Because the income, as we have discussed, because every government is a welfare government, so they want that every citizen of the country grows equally, and this tax is imposed on certain on the person for the principle of the equality. For example, let's see for example that two person are there who earn certain money. Example, suppose a person A earns 2000 rupees and person B earns 1000 rupees. So since the suppose this is a hypothetical example, suppose government says that this 2000 is more as compared to this one. So in that case, in that case, since we find that there are inequality in both the salary. For example, the in this 2000 salary of the person is higher than the salary of B person, so government will impose tax on this A for that purpose. That is known as the progressive tax. It means that the government is trying to reduce the inequality. So this is known as. Now we will look at the tax structure of India. Before looking at the tax structure, we have to know one simple curve. The curve is known as Laffer curve, L-A-F-E-R, Laffer curve. According to Laffer, he says that if we increase the tax of a government, if we increase the tax revenue, suppose let me erase this first of all. This is the tax revenue. This is the tax rate. Tax rate. So according to Laffer, the curve goes like this. It means that see every government wants that this revenue be increased at anyhow. So they want that their tax revenue be increased, but for that tax revenue, suppose certain particular section of society, suppose this person X% of the society of any country pays tax, and if the government want to increase this tax revenue, then the first thing that they can do either to increase the tax base, that is the number of the person that is paying the tax, either you increase it, or second thing is that you increase the tax rate. But the Laffer says that if you increase the tax rate at after certain limit, then the tax revenue will start decreasing, because if the tax rate is very high, then every person wants to hide the income. So after a certain limit, the tax rates should not increase because it will decrease the revenue of the government. So this is the Laffer curve that we have discussed. Now we will look at the India's tax structure. The India's tax structure is basically divided into two parts: the tax which is imposed or levied by the center, and the second thing, the tax which is imposed or levied by the state. So the tax imposed by the center are income tax. We have discussed income tax, corporate tax, and the wealth tax, excise duty, custom duty, MAX, and CGT means and capital gains tax. The income tax. Now we look at the income tax. Income tax, we know that income tax has basically 4 slab on the basis of the income of the person. For example, the tax is less than 2.5 lakh, 2.5 to 5 lakh, 5 to 10 lakh, and 4 thing above 10 lakh. So the tax revenue, the tax is collected by the government above less than 2.5 lakh, they are exempted from the tax revenue, and between 2.5 to 5 lakh it is 10%, sorry 5%, then 5 to 10 lakh it is 10%, and above 10 lakh it is 20% of the tax revenue. Also, this is the income tax, the slab of the income tax. The corporate tax has been revised in the recent time. So for domestic companies, I read it, the 15% for the companies who start, the corporate tax is 15% for the companies who start their business after October 2019 and who start manufacturing before March 2023. This is the for the company that for this criteria they have to give 15% tax, 22% tax for those companies who do not need any concession and rebate, and the 25% for those who those companies whose turnover is greater than less than equal to 400 crore. And also for the companies whose turnover is less than equal to 400 crore, and they are availing tax and they are availing the rebate and concession, they have to give 30% tax. 30% tax. Now the wealth tax, as we have discussed, the excise duty. What is excise duty? Excise duty is a form of tax which is imposed on the goods that is being manufactured in a particular country. That is known as excise duty, and it means that the excise duty is imposed at the stage of manufacturing. This is the important fact that we have to remember, that excise duty is imposed on the manufacturing item before it start manufacturing. That is known as excise duty. That is at the stage of manufacturing. And the custom duty. Also, we think this is the excise duty. Now we will look at the custom duty. The custom duty is just opposite of the excise duty. Both these duty are imposed on the items, on the manufacturing items. This is on the item which is import. This is on the manufacturing of the item inside the country, and this is the imported item. For example, if the particular commodity is being imported in any country, then they have to give the custom duty. That custom duty, as we have said, the opposite of the excise duty, in which the tax is imposed on the imported item. Why tax is imposed on the imported item? Because if the tax is not imposed, then the developed country can flood the market of the developing country. There are basically three types of custom duty. The first is the basic custom duty, second is the countervailing duty, and third is the anti-dumping duty. The basic custom duty is in the India, it is 10%. It is 10%. And why basic? Because the name suggests that it is on almost all imported items. We largely take 10% of the custom duty. That is known as the basic custom duty. Now, second thing is that countervailing duty, which is 5 rupees. If India imports certain commodity from China, let the same commodity X from China, and the price of that commodity is less as compared to the domestic market of India, for example 3 rupees, then the government of India will impose the duty on that commodity to make its domestic product competitive. That is known as the countervailing duty. And what is anti-dumping duty? Anti-dumping duty is the tax on the particular item whose value has been decreased in the domestic market of that company who is exporting that item. For example, suppose China exports certain commodity to India at a price which is very much low as compared to the price in the domestic market of its own country. And why it will do that? Because to flood its market with its commodity. So the China, when it want to flood the market of India with its product, then the government of India can impose the anti-dumping duty. And the difference between these two is that in this countervailing duty, when the price of that commodity when the same price is being produced in the Indian market, when the same commodity is being produced in Indian market, that is known as the for that product we use CVD, countervailing duty, and for all other products we use anti-dumping duty. Now the MAT stands for minimum alternate tax. It is a tax which is imposed recently after 2013, and in MAT, minimum alternate tax, if the company earns profit, then they have to give a tax of 15% to the government, because they also take the rebate and concession from the government, and also exemption So they have to give tax if the profit increases at certain level, and the tax is 15%. For CGT, capital gains tax. Gains tax is a tax on the capital gains in on the gain when in capital when the capital of when capital gains. For example, suppose you purchase a share from the market and its price is suppose 1 lakh, and after 1 year its price get increased to 5 lakh, then you have to give tax on the 4 lakh, because you have gained the tax, you have gained the capital. On that capital you have to give tax. That is known as CGT, means capital gains tax. Now the second type of the tax which is being imposed by the center are the narcotics and the alcohol and alcohol product, and this is the reason, because they have in the GST has been noted several tax has been subsumed, but not the narcotics and the alcohol, because they are the major revenue source for the state. So we have discussed the fiscal policy of the government, and we will discuss the expenditure and the borrowing of the government in the next video. So thank you very much.